Yay. I feel like I've become quasi-official Fujifilm tech support. I get so many questions. I'm also the only person I know that actually will read through all the forums about what people are talking about, see if there's actually genuinely anything going on, and find a consistent thread or an issue. Now, I've got two X-T2 Fujifilm cameras. I've only ever had two lockups. One was when I first got the camera. I was the first person in the world to review the consumer X-T2. And I had a few lockups, but I was actually shooting in burst mode with the older battery, the non-S battery, because when this camera obviously came to me, there was not a full charge in the battery, so I was using the old battery, which is the NPW126. So that solved that problem. The thing that I've noticed, and there have only been a very small handful of people mention this, and they're using their camera wrong. I'm not saying every thing out there has like one or two bad ones, right? I mean, guarantee there's like a couple of bad Lamborghinis that roll off the assembly line. People talking about lockups on their X-T2. And I went through many pages of people yammering about it, and you really do need to follow these instructions exactly. Anytime someone mentions a Lexar card, I've already made like countless videos. There's 3 points, cards only being one thing. If you're going to be shooting in burst mode, continuous high, you need to remember 3 things importantly. I don't care what the speed of the Lexar 2000 and 1000 cards are. I absolutely don't care. So people have contacted me about this. Have you guys using Lexar cards? Yeah, I am. How did you know? It's like, stop using Lexar cards. Lexar is out of business. I don't know when they're closing up shops, but it's certainly not soon enough. Now, they don't make the 280 gig cards anymore, rather the 300, and this is a 280. Very little difference. Get the 380, excuse me, the 380, the 300 megabit per second SanDisk cards for your camera, your Fujifilm camera. You don't have to have as fast of a card in the second slot if you're going to be shooting compressed RAW to one and JPEG to the other. However, most people are shooting backup, which is RAW and RAW, or RAW plus fine, and copying that to the second card, but get a pair of the same cards. Point number 2, the only other time I had a lockup, and I forgot I was switching over to some action, is you need to have your camera in boost mode, okay? It does need to be in boost mode. There's actually 4 points. The third point is the battery. I know a lot of people are using Watson and off-brand batteries. They're going on eBay. The Chinese are really good at duplicating batteries, but they don't have the exact same power discharge profile as the real Fujifilm batteries. You need to be using in the camera. You don't have to be using this for normal photography with the X-T2, but if you're going to be shooting a lot of burst photography for action, you need to be using the 126S batteries. You do need to be using those batteries. There was a fourth point here that was about to roll off my tongue. I forgot what it was. So the batteries absolutely need to be in boost mode. Get rid of the Lexar. Relegate the Lexar cards to just a single shot photography or whatever other camera it is you're using. Get some 300 megabit per second SanDisk cards. Oh, here's the fourth point. I notice people will not let the buffer clear when they're shooting a burst. They'll shoot a long rip at 11 frames or 14 frames per second in electronic shutter, and what they'll do is they'll hit the shutter release button halfway and they'll see the green light, but they won't notice the green light's blinking. That means focus confirmation. If you took your finger off the shutter release button, you will notice that the indicator light right back here on the X-T2 is still blinking orange, which means it's still writing to the cards. It's still buffering information to the cards. Any information to the declaration that, well, when I shoot uncompressed as opposed to compressed RAW files, then my issue alleviates. There is absolutely zero confirmation about this from anybody. Other than those people that don't provide enough information, every single indication. And I've been sent videos, including a video from a guy in Australia, and I had to look at his video like 20 times to see what he was doing wrong, and I finally discovered what it was he was doing wrong. You need to be using the right batteries, you need to be in boost mode, and you need to have the right cards. Okay? This is not an issue if you want to sit there and, hit a shot, but if the action's rolling around the corner, the bride's up at the altar, and you want to stick in continuous high and rip off 11, 14 frames per second, need to have all of those things in full-blown compliance. You just do. Boost, the correct batteries, and the high-speed SanDisk. I don't care what you think about Lexar cards. Every time I've narrowed down an issue, I was like, are you using Lexar cards? You're right, I am. Well, switch to SanDisk. And invariably, they come back, so I don't have the issue anymore. It's like, I know. So I've been saying all this time, don't buy Lexar cards. Well, why do you say I'll buy Lexar cards? I don't have any issue with Lexar cards. And these are statements made by people that, turn on their camera like everybody else and click, 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 click. You're not going to have an issue then. But there still is an issue with Lexar cards. Thank God Lexar is going out of business. To Hades with Lexar. Anyway, this is a tip on correct usage of your X-T2. The X-T2, you can't say it's actually more finicky than like a Nikon or a Canon. In a couple ways you can, because you actually have to set certain parameters for its full performance. And you don't really have that issue with an Nikon. It's not an issue with the Fuji. It means that you actually have more maneuverability or room to actually get something wrong due to your own ignorance on the correct operation of the X-T2 as opposed to like a Nikon or a Canon camera. So wherever you set it, that's going to be full performance. On the X-T2, like for focus tracking, for example, you have various options. Like AFC custom settings, where you're setting multi-purpose or ignore opticals and continue to track subject. Accelerating and decelerating subject. For suddenly appearing objects, you only have that. You need to have it in continuous. You need to have it in boost mode. And you also need to set the correct area. And these are things that you need to know that you don't particularly have to know on a Nikon or a Canon. But that doesn't mean that Fujifilm is any less incompetent. It means that when you want to do something specific, you need to know how to set the camera specifically for what it is that you want to do. And those people that are just ripping off bursts in action need to have them boost, need to have the correct battery, and you need to have the fast-ass SanDisk cards. It's just all there is to it. Okay? Just period. If you don't have those three things in compliance, then don't complain about a lockup. And the people that were complaining about lockup are extremely few in number. I love it when like two people get together and they go, we got the same problems. Yeah, this is an issue. No, it's not an issue. It just means you found another person that's doing something wrong just like you're doing something wrong. And that's not to say that there cannot be a very small number of cameras that are not 100% spec. Every mass-produced product is like that. However, you see, let's take a look at Nikon. Nikon's like recalling countless tens of thousands of Nikon D750s. You don't hear anything close to that out of Fujifilm. Fujifilm's not recalling anything because there's no issues. But just keep that in mind. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.